Welcome to macro education. Here we go. I want to spend some time talking about the three things that you will get a calorie from. Okay. And there are only three right here: carb, fat, and protein. There is nothing else you'll get calories from. So if you feel like you are overeating and you're getting too many calories, it's only going to come from these three things. And the one thing that I want to make sure that you understand is that you need these three things, preferably on the healthier side, but you need them to function well. Okay. So we're going to talk about those three things. Carbohydrate is 4 calories per gram. So if you look on the label and it says there's 25 grams of carbs, you're going to say 25 times 4 is 100. So it's got 100 calories of carbohydrate. Okay. Just kind of decide if you want to talk about calories in grams or calories, and that can help make it a little bit of an easier journey. Fat is almost twice as much at 9 calories per gram, and protein is just like carbohydrate at 4 calories per gram. So that means each one has either 4 or 9 calories per gram of energy, units of energy in that food. Okay. When it comes to deciding how many calories you should have, I have decided that most women get overwhelmed by how to figure out your calories. And it's easier if I do that for them, but it's also easier if I teach you to pick a number between 11 and 14. So I'm sorry, 11 and actually 14 or 16, as you can see on my paper here. Typically, the average woman who is not super active will fall somewhere between 11 and 14 calories per pound of ideal body weight. Okay. So I'm using the example of 150 pounds, but what if you are 250 pounds and your goal is to get down to 200 pounds? So we would start with 200 pounds. 200 pounds times the 11 would be whatever that comes out to. Okay. I'm going to actually look and see what that would be. So 200 times 11, because I don't do that in my head, would be 2,200 calories. It's ideal. Okay. It's ideal. I promise you. If you're going to be active. Now, if you plan to be sedentary, that's a different story. But you're going to pick either 11, 14, 11, 12, 13, or 14, probably to start. And it's okay if you start low, because we're going to use this calendar right here. You're going to do a calendar log just like I am. So you're going to learn to write down everything you eat during the day. I'm telling you, if you do not manage it, you cannot change it. So we're going to write down what we eat. If you look at this calendar, you will see I have my caloric total at the top, and on the same day underneath it, I have my protein grams. I like to measure my protein in grams because I know I need approximately 150 grams of protein per day. That's easy for me to mentally figure out, instead of saying 150 times 25 is how many calories. Like, that's, to me, that's harder. You do it your way, and that is fine with me. But we're going to take all 7 days of that week. We're going to add it up and then divide by 7 to get our average for the week. This is going to be very important for you to see in the big picture of that month. Okay. So I want you to keep this calendar, get a printed calendar, or write it on a sheet of paper. I don't care. Make your columns, put your days, and let's chart your caloric intake per day. Okay. Along with your protein grams. So each week we're going to be going over this together, and you're going to see your totals, and I want to see your average for that whole week. And you're going to weigh yourself at least once a week, and we're going to look at that and compare the two. All right, so daily calories can and should vary, but your average should be kind of specific by the end of the week, okay? Now, what does that mean? That means I could have a couple days of 1,800 and a couple days of 2,800. Somewhere in the middle, I'm going to come around to my 21 or 2,200. Okay. I don't mind how you do that, but out of that 7 days, I want you to come up with an average of whatever calorie limit you choose. If you choose the 1,650, that's what we're going to aim for. Okay. Next, what is BMR? Basal metabolic rate. Your resting metabolic rate. Okay. Your resting metabolic rate is how many calories you're going to burn if you laid in bed all day long. You will still burn about 1,200 calories. Okay. It's very rare that women are lower than that. If you're lower than that, you have worked real hard to get lower than that. So you've actually dieted too much. Okay. We really should not be going below 1,200 calories, because that is the minimum to keep you alive and functioning. Not optimally, but functioning. Okay. That is what your resting metabolic rate. I will tell you right now, mine is about 1400. You may think that sounds high. It's average for an active person. Okay. I actually have an 80-year-old female whose metabolic rate still ranges from resting rate still ranges from 13 to 1500. Okay. And so I want you to just, don't overwhelm that. Don't look at that and automatically discount it. Okay, with that said, just remember your body processes all this breathing, this digesting, this thinking, the hormones that's got to happen. We need energy to do that. Okay. Moving on, carbohydrates. I want to talk about some reasons you need them. You see this in writing, but we don't often believe it to the core of our being. Okay, but carbs are the main source of fuel for the body. They're easy. They're easy for the body to process, and they're meant to be for energy. They are not meant to be just for pure joy and getting a high off of a sugar high. Okay, so carbohydrates can be anything from a piece of broccoli to the carbohydrate that is involved in a donut. But donuts are not just carbohydrate. They are actually mostly fat. Most donuts are most fat. Anyway, carbs, like I said, they are easy energy. Okay. They're not only the main source, but they are easy energy, and they are needed by our central nervous system to function properly. Okay. Why do you think people who have low sugar don't think properly? They don't have clarity. They sometimes pass out. We need carbohydrates for a well-functioning nervous system. Okay. Moving on to fat. Fat is needed for normal growth and develop. I want to specifically point out that your cell, the cells of your body, the wall of that cell is made out of fat. So if you are not eating healthy fats or fat period, you are not going to have nutrients getting into the cell and out. So it is imperative that we keep the wall of your cell membranes, keep them pliable by eating healthy fats. Okay. Fat does supply a concentrated source of energy. So when you are low key, energetically being, you can burn body fat for fuel. And that is our goal, is to burn more body fat for fuel. We do need to eat fat in order to absorb fat soluble vitamins. All right. And fat does provide satiety. It helps us to feel fuller. Protein, obvious. Everybody seems to know that protein is for muscle, but protein is for bone growth. It's for repair. It's for your hair, skin, and nails. It is for hormonal processes. It is for all kinds of things. Protein contains amino acids. There are 20 essential, and there are 9 you cannot get, or that your body cannot make on its own. So you have to get from food. So we need to get a variety of proteins, because each variety of protein is going to have a different amino acid profile. For example, for women, leucine crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps our thinking to be more clear. Not all proteins are high in leucine. Animal proteins usually are. All right, protein is also needed for your immune function. If you've ever watched someone get really ill, they will waste away the muscle first. That immune system is using that for fuel. Also, they're not be able to eat as much, so they can't maintain that muscle. But muscle, protein, that is fuel for your immune system. Okay. Essential hormones and enzymes are made from the amino acids of these proteins. Okay. It's so important. If you want to digest well, you've got to have the proteins in there circulating all day long. That is why we want to make sure we're getting protein morning, lunch, and dinner. All right, so as for how much of each macro do you need? We started with early in the program that you want to have about a gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So I aim for 150 myself. If you are 250 and you want to be 180, you're going to aim for 180 grams, okay? If you are 140 and you're happy with your weight, 140 is what you need, okay? If you are 140 pounds, but you want to be 125, then you need to eat no less than 125 grams, okay, per pound of ideal body weight. As for the carb and fat after that, I want you to just spend a few weeks focusing on your protein, because it will feel a little confusing in the beginning, but once you've mastered looking every day at the protein grams and knowing where that stands, it will come second nature for you to start looking at the fat and the carbohydrate grams. I want you to focus on fat next, okay? I put right in here on this PDF that fat grams should range anywhere from 55 to 85. It can fluctuate, but that would be your next focus. Anything left over would be carbohydrate, okay? So if there are any questions on that, I want you to make sure that you message me, reach out, email me, do whatever you need to do, but make sure that you get your questions answered because I am here to do that. And I will talk to you soon.